Okay, good morning, everybody. Apologize if my picture is too dark. Okay, Perek Mishna Daled. Again, the discussion here is a continuation of the discussion about we had before that if you were to pay money, give money, exchange money for Shemitah produce, that the money itself takes on the sanctity of the Shemitah produce. So now that's going to be that. Now we're going to have now this mission is going to further discuss that halacha. Ha'omer l'payel, when it says to a worker, hey locha iser, take this. Hey locha iser zeh, take this iser. Iser is a type of a coin. Lakili yerek hayayim, and collect vegetables for me today. Schari muter. This wages that the worker received are permissible, meaning they have no Shemitah restrictions. Getting paid to do the work to pick vegetables of Shemitah, in a situation where you can pick the Shemitah vegetables, getting paid for that is not an exchange for the vegetables, it's just wages for the work. And therefore, the wages are permissible. They have no sanctity of Shemitah. It's not considered an exchange for the Shemitah produce. But let's say he says differently. He says, pick for me vegetables for it. Lakatli bay. Pick for me for it, meaning for this coin, vegetables today. It means pick for me vegetables in return for the coin. Then we say schari aser. Then we say the wages are forbidden. That is considered like you exchange the money for the vegetable. Now, the Bartanura uses the words lashon mecher. This is an expression of a purchase. Mashma l'koitli shvuya yerek. Collect for me its value in a vegetable. When you say collect for me, right? That was the first case. The first case, he says, take this coin and collect for me. That's not an expression of a sale. That's not an expression of a sale. But saying basically lakaitli bay, which means collect for me its value, then that's an expression of a sale. Now, my understanding here is that it's understood that even in that when you say that word, you say collect for me for this coin yerek today, which implies, as the Bartanura says, collect for me its value. I mean, collect for me an iser's worth of yerek. Essentially, I'm not buying the vegetable. I'm paying the guy and I'm telling him how much I want him to pick. But I'm not paying for the vegetable to say that this is considered like I exchanged money for the vegetable. But my understanding here is, though, that the point is, though, it's an expression. It sounds like a sale. Saying that I want you to collect for me this amount of vegetables for this that equals this value, that has more of an expression of a sale. And therefore, the strategies were strict in this. It was call it a precautionary measure for regular cases of sale. And we say that this is considered like an exchange, and therefore the wages will have to be treated like money exchanged for Shemitah produce. But it's not a real sale. It's understood either way. You're just paying him. Just a question of how much is it that you are asking him to buy, asking him to do. Are you telling him, collect vegetables for me, and I'll pay you today for that iser, which is really about collect as many vegetables, collect as much as you can, but you get and your wages are an iser. That's the first case. The second case is that where your payment is more specific, more direct, so to speak, to the coin itself, to the value of the coin. I'm telling you, collect for me vegetables that are worth an iser, and I'm going to give you an iser for that. But I'm not buying the vegetables, but it has more the payment of the coin, and what's picked has more of a kind of, it's more directed, has more of a connection, and therefore the Chachamim were strict there and said you got to treat that like a sale, and therefore that money is going to get the sanctity of the Shemitah produce and has to be treated that way. Next case, Lokach min hanachtem kikar b'funyan. He bought from a baker a loaf of bread that was worth a funyan. And he says, When I collect vegetables from the field, I'll bring it to you. So what he's doing here is he's saying, the way it sounds like, is that he bought a loaf of bread from the storekeeper. It was worth a funyon. And when he says, when I go out and pick vegetables, I'll bring it to you. Sounds like a payment. I took a kikar, I took a loaf of bread, and I'm telling you, I'll pay you for it when I pick vegetables. So what's going to be the halacha then? What's going to be the status of those vegetables? The answer is mutter. Those vegetables are going to be permissible. They are not going to be considered Shemitah produce. Now you may ask why? Isn't he paying? Isn't he using it to pay? Isn't it come out that there's an exchange here? There's an exchange of right? Doesn't it sound here? There's an exchange of the loaf of the bread and the vegetables are an exchange. I mean, good, it didn't happen. You took it beforehand, but at the end of the day, you're giving me the bread for the vegetables, and I'm giving you the vegetables for the bread. So the bread should now take on the sanctity of the vegetables. At least according to, we should at least look like the case before, where it appears like of a sale, and the sages should have been strict there and said that the bread now takes on the status of Shemitah produce. You got to treat it that way. But the Mishna says no, mutter, it's permissible. And the reason is because in this case, what he did is like this. He took the bread. Now, you take a bread, it was very normal that that you pay later. You take the bread and you come back and you pay later. But all he's saying here is when he takes the bread is he's saying, when I collect vegetables, I will bring it to you. He doesn't say I'm paying you for it. He didn't make, and it wasn't like it wasn't, and it wasn't that he was what happened. Well, we'll see the next case of the Mishnah. But in this case, is you took the bread, and then you said, when I collect vegetables, I'll bring it to you. So in that case, it's understood that, again, he's not saying I'm paying you for it. He just says, when I have collect vegetables, I'll bring it to you. The understanding is that it's not a payment for the bread, but rather it's like, you did me a favor. You gave me the bread. You gave me the bread as a gift. And now I'm going to do you back a favor, and I'm going to give you a gift of vegetables. That wording is a wording, being that he said, he took the bread, but then he said, when I collect, I'll bring it to you. He didn't say I'm paying you for it. In that situation, it's going to be permissible because this doesn't have to be seen as a sale. This can very well be understood as favor for favor, gift for gift, and therefore the bread will not get the status of the Shemitah produce. Lokach mimenu stam. Okay, you go ahead and you buy the bread without saying anything. In the first case, you took the bread and right away said, when I collect, I'm gonna bring you the vegetables. This is what you laid out right in the beginning. And because the way you said it, we understand that you mean to say, you gift me this and I'll gift you that. But here the case is lokach mimenu stam. You went ahead and you took the vegetable, you took the bread without saying anything. A regular case that was typical, you go into a store, you take, and it's expected you will come back and pay. Well, you cannot then go and pay for this bread with Shemitah money, meaning money that had already been exchanged for Shemitah produce, so that now the Shemitah produce, the money takes on the status of the Shemitah produce. And we know there are ways of doing that permissibly. Now you want to use that money to go ahead and pay for the bread. The answer is you can't do that. You cannot use that money to pay for the bread. You cannot pay a debt with Shemitah money. This is considered like doing business with Shemitah produce. It's like if I go ahead and I use Shemitah produce to pay for something, that's considered like doing business with it. That's doing commerce with it. You can't do that. So here too, when you have Shemitah money that has the sanctity of Shemitah and you use it for paying, that will also be a problem of it's considered like doing commerce. I'm paying you for something that I bought with Shemitah money. That's like doing commerce with Shemitah money, which you can't do. And the same thing would be if you wanted to go in and actually use Shemitah produce to pay, it would be the same thing. You can't pay a debt. You can't pay a debt with Shemitah produce because that is considered doing business, doing commerce with Shemitah produce, which we are not allowed to do. Okay. Now the Sefer HaMitzvot. Mitzvahs lo yisaseh shelatzos malacha b'Shabbos. Prohibition against doing work on Shabbos. And the word that's used is malacha. Malacha, we'll see, is a certain type of work. Shenema, as the pasuk says, lo yisaseh kol malacha, you shall not do any malacha, any work. Again, the general translation of malacha is work, but as we will see, malacha is a certain type of work. Umaru chazal lamatas avos malachis. Shnusim b'per klal gadol. There's a chapter in Masechah Shabbos called Klal Gadol, and Chazal enumerated the 39 avos malachas, the 39 primary forms of work. These were the types of work that were found in the construction of the Mishkan, and they are the primary, call them the starting points of understanding what's considered malacha work that the Torah forbade on Shabbos. But we start off with 39 primary types of work. They're primary because that's where we start from, and they were found in the construction of the Mishkan. And for the primary forms of work or for their derivatives, meaning you have the actual form of this work that was found in construction of the Mishkan, then you have other things that are similar to it. The things that are similar to it are just as forbidden from the Torah to do on Shabbos as the primary work itself. And therefore we say, whether you have performed a malacha of the primary form or of their derivatives, chayavim schila, you would be liable to the capital punishment of stoning if you did so with being warned beforehand by two witnesses and you didn't listen. If you do it intentionally without being warned, karis, then you have that divine the karis, that cutting off from heaven. And if you did it unintentionally, you'd be liable to bring a sin offering. The only difference that there is practically between the primary forms of malach of work and the derivatives are only regarding bringing a sacrifice. And the Chavetz Chaim doesn't get into the exact case of when that is, but it creates differences regarding a sacrifice, regarding the sacrifices that you would bring if you did it unintentionally. Any form of work that is forbidden rabbinically, that they decreed it as a precautionary measure not to come to do the actual Torah prohibition. If you do them intentionally, it's not a Torah prohibition, it's a rabbinic prohibition. We give you makas mardus, you could get lashes of disobedience for being disobedient to the words of the sages. And we have to be careful that not only we don't do these malachas, but we can't allow our animals to do those kinds of work. Of course, the ones that are relevant for an animal to do. If you tell a non-Jew to perform a malacha, forbidden activity on Shabbos, this is forbidden from rabbinically. The words of the scribes means the words of the sages. It's called shvus. Shvus means stop, rest. When we talk about things that are rabbinically decreed to be forbidden on Shabbos, we call them shvus. The chuya Shabbos nefashis. Shabbos is superseded by a danger to life. If it's a question of doing a forbidden malacha, doing a forbidden act on Shabbos and saving a life takes precedence. Shako Shabbos mitzvahs. Shabbos is equal to all the other commandments of the Torah. Because it is a sign between God and the Jewish people of the fact that He is God, that He created the world. And therefore, because it is that important sign, it's considered equal to all the other mitzvahs of the Torah. That's how important it is to keep Shabbos. Machal Shabbos b'mezid b'farhasia. One who desecrates Shabbos intentionally, publicly. Intentionally means he knows it's forbidden, he understands fully the weight of what he's doing, and he does it publicly. He actually loses his status for many things of being a Jew. He's considered like a non-Jew. For instance, were he to go ahead and touch wine that you made, it would become forbidden for you to do. Forbidden for you to drink, like if a non-Jew were to touch it. But then again, that's somebody who intentionally desecrates Shabbos publicly. The prophet praised the one who keeps Shabbos as it states. Ashrei enish yasazais. Praiseworthy is a person who does this. Shomer Shabbos mechalalai. And one of the things he mentions is a person who guards Shabbos from desecrating it. And that the Navi says on him, Ashrei, fortunate is that person. This applies in all places at all times, both by men and by women. Have a great day.